All right, everyone, welcome back for the episode of Carnivore Trades. Today is Thursday, December 26, 2024. If you're not done so already, please give the video a thumbs up. Like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Come find me on carnivoretrades.com for swing trading alerts, analysis, and live day trading. Anyways, let's get into it today. So, markets today, again, post-holiday session, and it is still the holiday. We are still in the Santa rally period. And we got confirmation of that on Tuesday now. So again, kind of coming back here from a little break. Look at the volume here, 21 million shares at 330. That's super light, and it's probably going to. It might even be less than Tuesday was, and Tuesday was a half day. So a couple of things here as we get into the end of the year. Again, be very careful about shorting this market. Again, AAII, we didn't talk about this. I haven't talked about this in a week, but it continues to be bullish. And what I mean by that is that drop last week, bulls keep dropping here and bears continually kind of steadily upticking. And we're just kind of, right in time for the most bullish, 5-day stretch of the year. So again, volume light, never showed a dull market, and again, bear sentiment here. I think people are really focused on yields. They're really focused on macro, and again, I think there's a few things that need to happen before we're going to top out. And I think one of those is I think we need to at least hit Apple $4 trillion market cap. And if you recall, going back to last year, actually it was earlier this year, I made a prediction that I don't think people are bullish enough, and some people kind of laughed at me for this, but yeah, here we are at 270, and this is just a simple measured move here. This is just simple TA, nothing fancy about it. But Apple, into that 270 handle, it's close, and that I think will get it up to $1 trillion. So we're at like 3.925. It's right in that range. And it's funny how that lines up, right? Just a simple measured move, and that's going to line us up with a $4 trillion market cap. I think that needs to get out of the way before we're going to top. Besides which, we're in that time of the year anyway, where we're not going to be looking for a top anyway. I've said for quite a while, don't even bother looking for one until January. And so far, that's been the case here. We had one sell day, and everybody's like, "That's it, yields, the Fed, this, that." And, we talked about this. I said it was probably a liquidity grab, and we were looking for a low, and we played that low very nicely. IWM here, dealers are starting to hedge to the upside. As long as we stay above 225, which I think we're going to do, we're turning this previous support back into resistance, back into support, right? Resistance, support, down move, resistance, and now we're above it. That's getting changed again. I love this chart here on the RTY. Beautiful technicals. Beautiful technicals right there. 618, 200 MA. We can go out a little bit farther. And, you can just kind of, draw it in this general vicinity. If you want to go a little bit lower, that's fine. But either way, you can do it to the highs, right into that general vicinity, and very nice move. The IWM, by the way, I've been adamant about this. The IWM's been a laggard all year. So the reason that there was kind of some concern, like, oh, the IWM's not rallying with SPY. It hasn't really done all year. Right here, it took it like a week to catch up. It took it a few weeks to catch up from this pivot. It took it like an extra week to catch up from this pivot versus the spiders. So, it's just kind of par for the course here. And that's kind of how it goes, right? That's everything. Everybody piles into the weakest sector, and that's the last one to pile out. It's also had the biggest rallies in the shortest periods of time. We've caught all of these this year, and looking to catch one more here. I think 230 is next up, as long as we hold 225. And believe it or not, I'll give you a little tidbit here. 250 is still on the table for January if we can hold up into that. That's just if we can hold up into that, right? We still have to test 230. You got to get through that. Then you've got 235, 40, etc. But if that happens and we're still rallying into Jan, I think we will see 250. I believe IWM did make a new all-time high. Yeah, it did. RTY futures did not. This is unadjusted on the weekly. So if we go to the daily, You can see there it is. It did not. So I think these types of, I think these two things need to happen, specifically more so Apple. I care less about small caps than I do about Apple, but I do think that that's something that's going to have to get out of the way here. And I would not be short this market in this tape, right? We talked about this. I gave it out Sunday night at the beginning of the week. Don't, and I talk about this stuff all the time here, but look at like the fibs, right? 618 it should give you a reaction. We had zero reaction at that, right? There, that one little 5-minute pullback, 10-minute pullback was your grand reaction. That's the market telling you it's strong. It's the market telling you it doesn't care about your resistance. And to be fair, we didn't build resistance on the way down. We just short. This is just short selling. Most of it ODTE. Nice failed breakdown here. Beautiful failed breakdown at the lows and nice continuation up. By the way, speaking of failed breakdowns, there will be some added course material and updates. I'll be doing a sale on that in January, and I've added and revised a lot of stuff there, so stay tuned for that news. But anyway, here, spiders, again, holding up. 60.50 is top for today. Tomorrow, if we get through that, we got 75 and then 6,100. I don't think we're getting through 6,100 by the end of the year. If we do, it'll be on the last day of the year, and that'll be it. I think, again, I don't put a lot behind the JPM collar, especially not now anymore that everybody front runs it, which is probably what this was. And look at how easily we V-shape. But, it's there, but those calls are so burnt out at this point. If we could close up there 10 points above it, it's not going to make a difference at this point. But anyway, yeah, we're through 600. So just looking at SPY here from the work I've done, 605 is next. Qs here through 530. We can try for 535 again, and then maybe 540. I'm not sure if they're going to really be able to get past that by. Let me just check. Just say the 35. Yeah, I would just say 540s max by end of year. That's still a nice move though. But yeah, the big level I care about here is, and let's go back to this too. IWM, look at today. Gap down, weakness, everybody's bearish. Oh, IWM sucks, can't rally, can't get anything going. Then it V-shapes with the Qs doing what? Liquidity grab, dip, right? Dispersion's back. Again, so another thing we talked about, I said watch for VIX to go to where? 14, and we're close. I mean, it got really close. And I said this back when it was at 23 too. So, and everybody was like, oh, we're going to crash now. The fundamentals matter. And I said, no. Dealers are short. Don't get in their way. And here we are. Below 15, we stay below that. It should go to 14. But that does help create dispersion. And you're seeing sectors like XLV kind of catch back up here, starting to inch back up. As, XLK kind of backs off. Although XLK hanging in there now, I guess. User. They've been backing off all up until the last hour here. But either way, you're seeing that outperformance there from the small caps. And again, big level, as long as we're above 225, I give it the bias to 230. Dow here, 435, 437 are the levels. These are just short-term levels here. Very short-term. SMH up 47 cents. It's peaking above the trend line. Let's see if we can get going. It's going to be all about NVIDIA. And can it start to float back towards that 150, right? We're hammering on this, basically hammering on this trend line here for all intents and purposes, right? We can break that 140. It should get up to 150. So just keep an eye on that. Nice float up here by the Russell too. Dealers are flipping here. They're dumping risk onto the market. IGV up 5 cents. Yeah, no problems here. Close above the red bar high is bullish. Simple. Transports here, again, big dip, sliced way harder than I thought it was going to. Excuse me, it has a similar look as a lot of things, right? Breaking that trend line here, and, this is another thing that I actually update a little bit in the course material, and I did a whole video on this, but don't fall in love with trend lines, please. Like, yeah, it's a thing here, but I'm bringing up the IWM again, but, like, look, we broke that trend line. If you went short down here, you got hosed. XLK, if you shorted here and you didn't cover quickly, you got hosed. Diamond, you shorted here and you didn't cover very quickly, you're starting to get hosed, right? Don't fall in love with them. They're just, you know, like it's just it's another indicator like anything else. And look at, again, like to go back to XLK, we broke the trend. Like, let's just start from here. This is pretty much the angle that we're at, like that, right? And then you have the outlier right there, and then the outlier there. Look how quickly we just went right back to the old trend. So you could say like, oh, this trend line was broken, but was it though? Because we went right back and just continued on that same path. So anyway, with transports here, we'll look for, you know, if we can get back above 16.2, we'll look for it to go back up to 16.6, and maybe ultimately test that trend line again. So that's what we're looking for here. Yields again holding up. 2-year hanging in there. We did have a good auction today though. So yields made a new high. 10-year actually made a new high, and then it did come back flat to negative, and you can see pretty much the same thing across the board. It was higher earlier and then came back in. Here is the bear case, right, for Q1, if there's going to be one. If this, I mean, it's right on it right now. If this breaks above that yellow line, there's a huge problem. I know everybody, all they care about is the 10-year, but trust me, this is what matters when it comes to Fed funds. The 2-year. Every macro genius seems to forget about this, but this is all the Fed really looks at. If that goes above that yellow line, we have to start talking about not cuts, not pausing, but hikes. I don't think it's going to happen, just because, I don't know, I think the Fed maybe sees something. I think that's why they're so comfortable doing what they're doing, if I had to hunch. But if this goes higher significantly than this yellow line, we have to start thinking about about hikes again. But nobody cares. So anyway, XHP down 2 cents. This can try to catch back up. Still got to get back above 110 though. And again, this is reflecting rates right now. VNQ, again, still kind of soft, up 20 cents. This should still get a retrace. Let's just say to 92.50 for now. XLF, if I can type it in. Hanging in there. Again, 49.33 is still our level. You get above that. This has repaired that damage. And then KRE here up nicely today, which is helping out the Russell. Beautiful trend line hit right there, gapped right into it. We had multiple factors, right? 100 MA, gap fill, previous high. So that's acting well. We'll look for that to get back up into 64 here and then evaluate from there. IWM inching up very nicely here as we get close to the end of the day. That's going to 230. Give you guys these levels for free, by the way, and they get even better when you jump into Active Trader, so we have all the dealer information. But anyway, KBE up 26 cents. Broker dealers here up at 1%. Nice move there. Oil here, green to red. So it was up nicely earlier and then came back in. It's trying to put in kind of a bull pattern here. I just don't have a good enough, I mean, yeah. Let's look at the 4-hour here. I'll help you out. There's nothing else going on today, right? I mean, come on. Let's look at oil here for a sec. I mean, you could make a case that's kind of like a bull pattern, but it's not really the best. I'd prefer it if we had broken above 72 and then did this. As you can see, it's breaking right back inside of that channel too. There is a big move coming in this though, and I'm going to keep saying it until we get one because I just don't know the direction yet. But take a look here. Let's look on the weekly, actually. Look at that. The Bollinger Band width, it's tight. Right? This is like, we're going to get expansion here soon. It probably waits until Q1. Look at IWM. That's continuing to act well. Gotta love it. Keep paying us. But anyway, oil hanging in there. I don't have a bias right now. XLE down. I do like XLE. I think it's on discount here. XOP. If you're looking for dip to buy, right? Everybody wants a dip to buy. Here it is. Like, don't chase check. Here's your dip. XOP double bottom and OIH double bottom are holding. CCJ down 13 cents. I still think that wants to go test 50. We'll see. NM a little bit weaker here too. Looks a little seller exhaustion though in the short term. Same thing with NJ. Nat gas down 6%. We'll see if that ends up being it. We got to $4. It is pulling back. I think this rolls kind of soon, doesn't it? Like, yeah, next week. I think it's like Monday or Tuesday. It might even be tomorrow. I don't know. We'll see when it starts rolling. It's into pretty steep backwardation though. So it should drop down to like 340 or so. Not that that matters per contract, but as far as the continuous price is. But it had a nice run here. Dollar index flat to positive again. That's still pretty healthy here. I'd like to see it do some more consolidation. And my favorite right now is gold too. Well, not my favorite, but it's something I really like here. I don't even own it yet. But again, look at gold. Let's just look at this morning. It's just strong all day long. And look at bonds. They weren't strong until this afternoon with that auction. They were weak all day until the auction. Gold is continuing to show relative strength here despite weak, traditionally weak fundamentals, right? So and again, favorable seasonality coming up with both gold and silver. Silver strong all day too. Had a little bit of a dip in the afternoon, but it's green now. I think there's possibility here for some action. Platinum here down, but outside of that falling wedge, we'll see how that works. And palladium, kind of the same thing. I'd like to see this do some more, right? So remember, I've been saying for a while, like I don't fix that. I don't have a setup. If this gives me enough of one, I'll say there's a setup. I'm just kind of waiting on pattern for this. I still like the level, like the long term, but we got to watch this. Copper here, up 3 cents. Again, it's just hanging on for dear life here. We'll see if there's one more liquidity grab. It may go up, but you still have lower highs. And as long as this continues lower highs, you got to give it the downside bias. Again, I'm not playing it one way or the other, but just giving it face value. Bitcoin backing off a little bit here. I think it's fine though. This definitely was a failed breakout attempt, so it needs to do more consolidation, and that's just the camp I'm in. You guys know what I'm going to say if you watch the channel for a long time, right? Fill in the blank. As long as what happens, right? As long as we're going sideways, the 20 MA catches up on the weekly, it can just go higher. It can just correct through time. Perfect example if you're new to the channel. Monthly 20 MA catches up to price, and we just blast off. So no problems here. It does need to do some continued backing and filling though. And you're seeing the alts continue to back off too. I did dump my runners, last week finally, or I should say before the holiday break finally, and 52% on the Bitcoin runner too on one of the legs. Decent gain on ETH too. But anyway, I think crypto's okay. So let's see. Yeah, market's tight here. We'll probably close at like 60.49. It doesn't really matter. But yeah, good price action. IWM leading. When you see that, that's good. That's rotation. Don't fight it. And I think Apple wants that 4T mark. So we'll see if we get up to that 270. A lot of time, I remember last, when I was talking about this, they were like, oh, it's overbought. It can't go any higher. Wrong. It's in a bull market. Yeah, who cares about the RSI? It's in a bull market. It's went sideways for a whole year. The biggest, most important stock in the world consolidated bull for a year. It can break out on the monthly just because it's overbought on the daily. Don't mean anything. That's an impulsive move. You don't want to fight that. And then they gave you a chance to buy it, and you probably went short, didn't you? I know you did. I'm watching you. No, I'm just kidding. But anyways, guys, I'll wrap it up here. That's enough of that. You guys take care. Again, 600 to 605, 225, 230. Those are the levels we're watching right now on the markets. But you guys take care. Have a good one. Enjoy your vacation, and I'll see you guys all tomorrow.